We kept trying to tell y'all that Chrisean is a terrible fucking mother and y'all was just trying to have her back and give her so much sympathy. Allegedly, Chrisean's son's medical records got leaked. And it's saying that he suffered from withdrawals from when he was pregnant, okay, because I know the baby wasn't doing it, so that means the mama was, and we all saw her smoking and drinking while she was pregnant, okay? The medical records are also saying allegedly that he suffered from fetal alcohol syndrome, meaning that he is being affected from what his mama did, allegedly. Allegedly is saying that he also has a seizure disorder, and it's saying a few other things are contributing to the why he's 2 and he cannot walk yet. And even Yanti got on here. We've been trying to tell this girl to get help for her baby. She's talking about pray for her. All the prayers in the world ain't gonna work if you're not taking that baby to go get help.
The video was shown first. Even though it was only a brief clip and only a moment, it had a huge impact on the internet. It features Chrisean Rock and her infant son, Jr. She seemed to be playing about with the camera, smiling and having fun. She abruptly raises her hand, though in the middle of the joke, and then everything changes. Jr. recoils. It is a complete bodily reaction, not just a blink, shrug, or tiny reflex. As if he were preparing for a collision, his small body twitches. Away, it was obvious how afraid that one motion was. The flinch your body makes when it has trained to anticipate. What will happen next is different from the one that occurs when you are surprised. That second was replayed by millions. The internet then surged after the initial stillness, because that small gesture gave rise to a question. No one was eager to ask aloud. This child is in danger, right? Digging began. Watching it again, examining, looking for clarification and comfort. What they discovered, however, was not consoling. Rather, it revealed a darker aspect. It didn't feel like a coincidence. Rather, it was the tip of the spear. The part about chilling. There had been warning, indications before the video even went viral. Moreover, it wasn't a stranger on the internet who raised the alarm the loudest. Blueface Jr.'s father was there. He'd been raising his voice, saying something wasn't right for months. That the mayhem involving Chrisean was something more than ordinary drama or crazy antics. He recounted instances in which worry had given way to real fear, not only for her, but also for their kid. Many dismissed him as petty or spiteful, but that clip made them think twice about all he had said. His words caused some to question whether he had been telling the truth all along.
My son's medical records leaking and everybody seeing and hearing about what's on them does not cancel her. I don't know what else at this point will. Like, somebody needs to get that little boy out of her care and get him out of her care quick. I tried to give Chrisean the benefit of the doubt because, you know, you're not always the best parent. Not everybody is the best parent, but they might be the best parent for that child. No, she's not the best parent at all. Like, seeing what's on these medical records is making me sick. Like, mind y'all, he didn't ask to be here and she did not have to have him.
It was harmful. However, the majority of people at the time dismissed it as just another example of their tumultuous public relationship unfolding on the internet. His words, however, struck a different chord in retrospect. Their tone is more desperate than dramatic, much like terror. Just hours after his birth, Jr. was handed off to strangers. He said, everyone didn't want to watch him. Additionally, it appeared that Chrisean was more interested in dating men or performing music than taking care of their son. The charge that followed was unsettling. Like other members of her family, Blueface said their child might be touched if things went on. It seemed like a low-handed, vicious insult at the moment. However, now, it doesn't sound that unrealistic. It seems to be a warning sign that we all disregard nowadays. And it wasn't just that. And then the video from the gym came out. Chrisean was live streaming her workout with the baby in tow just a few days after giving birth. The internet took note. No one was very interested in the workout itself. Everything else was to blame. In a noisy public gym, the infant was being passed by strangers as Chrisean concentrated on regaining her body. She boasted to her audience about her appearance, discussed her sagging tummy, and promised to have a six-pack by tomorrow. In front of almost 193,000 spectators, she even grumbled about having to hide her infant's face. She had nothing to hide. It was joyfully broadcast by her in
Looking at your son now, what type of legacy do you want to leave behind for him? What do you want him to know about Mom?
How to turn to God. I just want to teach him how to, because there's nothing I could do for him.
In addition, some viewers gave her credit for keeping it real, while others found it extremely disturbing. A mother whose attention-seeking behavior appeared to take precedence over her child's upbringing. Someone who, too preoccupied with getting approval from strangers online, failed to see the warning signs. However, that wasn't the most unsettling aspect either. You must return to where Chrisean came from in order to truly comprehend how we got here, returning to the anguish she has endured for the majority of her life. She has revealed bits of information regarding her early years, about the unsafe conditions in her home, the lack of stability, and the lack of a guardian. Then, on the show Baddies, she made a shocking revelation that astonished everyone. During a violent argument with her sister Teseki, Chrisean spat out a terrifying memory. "I remember you making me eat your Shasterisk tea when I was 7. It was impossible to process, raw and graphic. The room went cold." Behind the shock, however, were more difficult questions that nobody wanted to ask. Why would her sister act in such a way unless she had also been harmed? And what sort of home did they all grow up in? It was a devastating picture of a traumatized family that emerged. A pattern of abuse that kept happening until the distinction between the victim and the offender became murky. Chrisean mentioned her father in passing as well, and the tales she shared weren't any better. Anguish, aggression, and desertion. As a result, she was never able to escape it.
Bad is, I would want this information that was just put out about Chrisean Jr. to be false. At some point, I'm thinking it might be some type truth to it. Because you gotta think, almost 2-year-old child is laying on his back. He's not mobile, so that means he's in diapers. So that means he's sitting in that. So can I believe there were maybe possible breakdown of the skin? I can believe.
A man who used to beat the children as they were lined up against a wall, she said. At one point, she claimed that he tortured her mother by tying her up in the forest. Chrisean also didn't defend her dad when Blueface got into a fight with him and knocked him unconscious. Indeed, she commended it. The father who restrained my mother was the same one who was struck unconscious. Should have been done years ago by someone. There was not even one instance of trauma. The experience lasted a lifetime. She was not surprised by violence. It was normal. Then there's her open, tumultuous, and frequently violent relationship with Blueface. You can still find the videos online. On Hollywood Boulevard, they got into a vicious altercation in one of the most notorious shows. With cameras flashing and strangers watching, Blueface screamed, grabbed, tore off her clothes, and threw her to the ground. Millions of people have watched these verified clips. Therefore, they are not rumors. A newborn is suddenly enmeshed in the midst of everything. Neither did Junior request this. Yet here he is, caught between two individuals who are unable to escape a vicious cycle. This has led to a heightened scrutiny of every broadcast, post, and subtle move. A particular flinch. No longer are people merely speculating on the internet. They have fear. According to one commenter, he twisted his entire body as soon as he saw her arm. Not flinching, that is. It's fear. She strikes him. She's presumably upset that the baby doesn't talk or walk like other babies, according to another. She is annoyed, and he is bearing the consequences. The details of what goes on behind closed doors are unknown to everyone, but it's getting tougher to ignore one thing. Many believe that Chrisean's son is now being affected by the same violence that devastated her, that perhaps the pattern continued. After she left, just a shift. Now, everyone is watching Junior, hoping and praying that someone would end that pattern before it's too late.
What if a wave came up and washed him offshore and he drowned and he got unalived? All because you wanted to go to that party so bad you couldn't find a reliable arrangement, get him a babysitter so he can be properly cared for while you go out 3 a.m. in the morning to go party on the beach. Is it that serious? Some people are just not meant to have kids. I mean, like, I don't like to judge nobody parenting, but she just be doing, she do shit and it's giving like, it's off her clout. She want to be the buzz.
Moreover, rumors are now becoming charges. Blueface is rumored to have proof, including real receipts, communications, pictures, and possibly even video. The kind of proof that would completely expose this whole thing? No one knows what or when he will reveal it. However, there are eyes everywhere, and the stress is rapidly increasing. That begs the question, was that flinch a chance, an unlucky reaction, or did something much more telling occur? Did the live streams and filters provide a peek of a more sinister reality? What occurs next, if it was? Considering that it is no longer about turmoil or clout, a child is at issue. A little child who is afraid and who deserves security, stability, and protection, yet didn't want any of these. The whole truth has not yet been disclosed, and the narrative is still developing. But there's no denying that people are now paying close attention. Remember to like and subscribe and share your thoughts in the comments, since this may just be the beginning. There will probably be more voices, and when they do, they could alter our entire understanding.
Watch this. Why you run like that? Why you run like that? Why you run like that? He like, hey. Okay.